Sit back and relax. Close your eyes, open your ears and get ready for a journey of thought, sound and fact. It's time for Ears Wide Open. Sit back.
Welcome everybody to the first new Ears Wide Open, coming to you from my new studio here in Customary, Puerto Rico. Just checking in. I'm going to start off with some old news stories, then we're going to get to the new ones. But first, we're going to start with the old.
The Associated Press. Pyongyang, North Korea. North Korea's highest court sentenced a Cincinnati area man to 15 years in prison with hard labor for subversion on Wednesday, weeks after authorities presented him to media and he tearfully confessed that he had tried to steal a propaganda banner. Before the trial, the 21-year-old from Wyoming, Ohio, said he had tried to steal a propaganda banner as a trophy for an acquaintance who wanted to hang it in her church. That would be grounds in North Korea for a subversion charge.
Now, personally, myself, I had just recently moved from Ohio down here to Puerto Rico, so I can honestly say that doesn't surprise me at all, because when I lived there, and a lot of people know it, those people in Ohio, they do some weird and crazy things just for the heck of it. Sometimes just to get attention, sometimes because they think it's funny, without actually thinking about the consequences. But it doesn't surprise me one bit. I know a lot of people like that. Sometimes they're alright people, just make dumb choices. But anyways, I'd like to welcome everybody to the new show. This is a new year, and in less than a week, we'll have a new president. That being said, some people agree with him, some people don't. I myself agree with him, but it doesn't matter. No one knows until after he starts his presidency how it goes, because everybody thought Obama was going to be so great. 8 years later, I don't think so. He didn't do very little until the very end, and at the very end, if you pay attention to the things he's doing, he's not helping America. He's trying to tie our hands. But that's alright. That's my opinion. And you have yours. And if you want to contact me, or email me or text me, the information will be right there in the description. On to the next story.
Companies want to replicate your dead loved ones with robot clones. In 2003, the wife of a 55-year-old Vietnamese carpenter named Levan died. Heartbroken, he dug up her grave, cast her body in clay and slept next to her for 5 years. The story is unsettling, but there's also something universal about his struggle to let go. Many grieving people feel an emotional connection to things that represent dead loved ones, such as headstones, urns and shrines, according to grief counselors. In the future, people may take that phenomenon to stunning new heights. Artificial intelligence experts predict that humans will replace dead relatives with synthetic robot clones, complete with a digital copy of that person's brain. It's like when people stuff a pet cat or dog. We don't stuff humans, but this is a way of stuffing their information, their personality and mannerisms, said Bruce Duncan, managing director of Teresa Movement, a research foundation that aims to transfer human consciousness to computers and robots. The firm has already created thousands of highly detailed mind clones to log the memories, values and attitudes of specific people. Using the data, scientists created one of the world's most socially advanced robots, a replica of Teresa Movement founder Martine Rothblatt's wife, called Bina 48, which sells for roughly $150,000. Rothblatt, who is also transgender and the highest-paid female CEO in America, spearheaded the project to create a digital replica of the human brain. She used her wife, Bina Aspen, as an early prototype, installing the real Bina's mind file into a physical robot designed to look like her. Made of a skin like rubber, Beena 48 was created using more than 100 hours of audio data recorded by the human being about her memories and beliefs. Like the real Beena, the robot loves flowers, has mocha-colored skin and a self-deprecating sense of humor. She makes facial expressions, greets people and has conversations, including some awkward ones, made possible with facial and voice recognition software, motion tracking, and internet connectivity.
Now that story was from March 2016, somewhere around that area, basically almost a year ago. Now, if you paid attention, you might need to go back and listen to it again. She's transgender. She wants to create a cyborg or a robot that downloaded memories and actions of her lover. I don't know about you, but that story to me sounds like depopulation, transhumanism. No more creating humans the natural way. They want everything to be robotic. Clones. Basically, they want to control who was born, or should I say, who was created, and who shall live, or continue living. That story just reeks of a dystopian future that I do not want no part of, and I will try not to let that happen. But anyways, again, that is my view, and like I told you before, keep your ears wide open.
The weed business is booming. In its annual report on the U.S. cannabis industry, Marijuana Business Daily predicts up to $44 billion in economic impact by 2020. To put that into some corporate context, it's roughly equivalent to the current market cap of Netflix or Caterpillar. Last year's report predicted $14 billion to $17 billion in impact for 2016. The publication has been producing the report since 2012. The impact figure is separate from sales of marijuana. It represents sales plus all the money pumped into the economy as a direct result of sales. It encompasses everything from wholesale growers to grow light manufacturers to marijuana accoutrements and everything below it touched by the trickle-down effect of marijuana money. It even extends to home purchases in places like Colorado, which has attracted new residents since legalizing recreational use. The Marijuana Mag assigned the marijuana economy an economic multiplier of 4, that means every dollar spent on marijuana leads to another $3 working its way into the economy.
And perfectly timed. After that story, I'm gonna take a commercial break real quick, or a smoke break, but not that kind. Just like everybody else. I gotta find ways to pay the bills and keep this show going, so I'm gonna have to go to commercial. I'll be right back.
Do you have an idea for a song? Do you have one you wrote? Or do you want to make a parody or song for a party? This and other recording options are just a step away. Thanks to Dayton GC Productions, solo owned and operated, makes it cheap and easy. Just come to Dayton GC Productions and you'll be singing your song in no time.
I have an update on that now. Dayton G's recording studios are no longer in Dayton. At the beginning of the show, I told you I am now located here in Castanea, Puerto Rico. So if you live here or nearby, just come to the Pink House up on the hill on Paradise Road. You know where I'm at. Always welcome people and new ideas. But getting back to the news. Let's see what other topics we got from last year leading up to the new year. 1 second.
Russia's top crude producer Rosneft has agreed to sell Indian state firms a nearly 50% stake in its oil field in Siberia, the company announced on Wednesday. Under the agreement, India's State Oil and Natural Gas Corporation will increase its stake in Rosneft's Vankor project to 26%, with Oil India, Bharat Petroresources and Indian Oil to buy up to 23.9%. Rosneft has not revealed the value of the deal. The Russian oil firm will retain a 50.1% stake in Vankor. The parties plan to finalize the deal by the end of June this year, according to Rosneft. The world's fourth biggest oil consumer, India is seeking to buy assets abroad to ensure energy security amid crude price volatility. Cut off from Western financing due to international sanctions, Rosneft is looking to Asia for investment. Preliminary agreements between the countries were signed in December during Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Moscow. Rosneft says it plans to acquire a stake in India's Essar Oil by the end of June and will start crude deliveries to the company's refinery this year. Indian companies are gaining access to oil production projects in Russia, and Rosneft is gaining an opportunity to operate on the Indian market, said CEO Igor Sakhin at a briefing in New Delhi, adding that the deals will establish a reliable energy bridge between the countries.
This next story is a flashback for my co-workers or ex-co-workers at Walmart. This is about a year ago. Wonder what happened just a week ago at that Walmart, same one in Hero Heights. Only time will tell.
Butler TWP, Montgomery County. Update at 3:23 p.m. The Walmart on York Commons Boulevard has reopened. The fire department narrowed the source of the odor to two potential sources, either a room with cleaning chemicals or a heating unit. The fire department spent 6 hours at the store today. Update at 10:12 a.m. Walmart on York Commons Boulevard will remain closed while the hazmat team remains on scene. Some store employees will continue their shift at the Walmart in Hoover Heights. Fire officials estimate the store will be shut down for at least another 2 hours.
Again, just a reminder, this story is also from last year. I'm trying to catch everybody up. Before the anti-Russian propaganda started, here's one out of Pentagon.
China and Russia are preparing to attack and disrupt critical U.S. military and intelligence satellites in a future conflict with crippling space missile, maneuvering satellite, and laser attacks, senior Pentagon and intelligence officials told Congress on Tuesday. Air Force General John Hyten, commander of the Air Force Space Command, said the threat to U.S. space systems has reached a new tipping point, and after years of post-Cold War stagnation, foreign states are focused on curbing U.S. space systems. Adversaries are developing kinetic, directed energy, and cyber tools to deny, degrade, and destroy our space capabilities, Hyten said in a prepared statement for a hearing of the House Armed Service Strategic Forces Subcommittee. They understand our reliance on space, and they understand the competitive advantage we derive from space. The need for vigilance has never been greater, the four-star general said. Hyten said U.S. global positioning system satellites remain vulnerable to attack or jamming. The satellite's extremely accurate timekeeping feature is even more critical to U.S. guided weapons than their ability to provide navigation guidance, he said.
Now with that story being said, yes, the U.S. military is planning on space war, futuristic war, or they currently are, we just don't know about it. But listen to this.
Washington, AFP, NASA said it will test the effects of a large fire in space by setting off a blaze inside an orbiting unmanned spacecraft. NASA has set off tiny controlled fires in space in the past, but never tested how large flames react inside a space capsule in space. This research is crucial for the safety of current and future space missions, Gary Ruff, one of the engineers heading the experiment at the U.S. Space Agency's Glenn Research Center in Cleveland, Ohio, said Tuesday. The goal is to measure the size of the flames, how quickly they spread, the heat output, and how much gas is emitted. The experiment will be conducted in an orbital 80K Cygnus capsule after the craft ferries supplies to the International Space Station. The Cygnus capsule is scheduled to blast off from Cape Canaveral, Florida, atop an Atlas V rocket on its final mission on March 23.
Yeah, fires and explosions in space. They should have already had that figured out. But anyway, it's my opinion. I'm gonna stay on this space topic just for a little bit longer. I got some more space news for you. Keep your ears wide open on this.
Once the capsule undocks from the ISS and is far away from the space station, ground control will trigger the fire on board, Ruff said. The results of this experiment, dubbed Sapphire 1, will determine how much fire resistance is needed in the ultralight material used in the spacecraft and the astronauts' gear. It will also help NASA build better fire detection and suppression systems for their spaceships, and study how microgravity and limited amounts of oxygen affect the size of the flames. Understanding fire in space has been the focus of many experiments over the years, said Ruff. While many small, centimeter-sized fires have been lit in space before, to really understand fire, you've got to look at a more realistic size. Temperature, oxygen and carbon dioxide sensors will record data on the fire, which is expected to last about 20 minutes, in real time. Cameras also will film the material as it burns. A few days after the blaze, NASA expects the remnants of the Cygnus capsule to plunge towards Earth and disintegrate in the atmosphere.
I will have to give you a warning on this story. It's a little graphic, a little disturbing. But again, you must keep your ears wide open.
The ISIS army that's still unborn. London. There are roughly 5 million children living under the so-called Islamic State in Iraq and Syria. As such, it was only a matter of time before the worst terror group of our lifetime set its sights on them. And now it has. Working with Child Soldiers Initiative, and endorsed by UNICEF, my counter-extremism organization Quilliam has released a seminal report, PDF, documenting the use of child soldiers by ISIS. This report makes for cruel reading. The United Nations has received credible but unverified reports suggesting that ISIS has created a youth wing called Fitna al-Islam, meaning Boys of Islam. The precedent seems to have been set by the former Ba'athist regime of Saddam Hussein in Iraq, which in the late 1970s established the Future Youth Vanguard movement with the most important Iraqi child soldier units known as Ashbul Saddam, or Saddam's Lion Cubs. Apparently after studying the Nazi regime, which created the Hitler Youth, ISIS is now busy training and indoctrinating children en masse. But as with most things ISIS lays its hands on, the group has taken its brutality involving children way beyond anything Hitler or Saddam ever did. ISIS has abducted between 800 and 900 children ranging between the ages of 9 and 15 from various regions of Mosul city and province. From last August to February, 254 instances of children being used in ISIS propaganda were found. Many are being trained as spies, preachers, soldiers, executioners, and suicide bombers. In counting lessons, children tally up guns or tanks instead of apples and oranges. Media outlets within the caliphate have issued statements warning that children who refuse to conform with ISIS orders will be flogged, tortured, or raped.
And they call themselves the religion of peace. Yeah, sure you are Muslims. I'm sorry. But as far as I can tell, there's not that many of you guys that are innocent or peaceful. Almost all your laws are barbaric. That's my point. I am your host, Ron Goodrich. This has been the first new Ears Wide Open, and I welcome you back to the second one with more news. So keep that in mind. Stay safe, be aware, and always keep your ears wide open.
Sit back and relax. Close your eyes, open your ears and get ready for a journey of thought, sound and fact. It's time for Ears Wide Open. Sit back and relax. Sit back and relax. Sit back and relax. Close your eyes, open your ears and get ready for a journey of thought, sound and fact. It's time for Ears Wide Open. 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 Sit back and relax.